Students, we are going to have the first topic, that is time and work. So here's the first concept on the same, students. So if a person can do a piece of work in n days, then in one day the person does 1/n of the work, right? So if we say that a person can do a piece of work in 20 days, that means in one day the person will be able to do 1/20th of the work. Same the next day, the third day, and so on, students. If you take 1/20 for the 20 days and you add all that, it will become 20/20, which is equal to 1. That is, the whole work will be completed. So this is the basic concept that we use in case of time and work. So moving on, just give a reading to the students. So I think you all are able to understand it. If a person does it in 10 days, 1 day 1/10, and so on. So moving on, students, the first question. That's great. So the concept remains simple, students. So as we know that Ram can do a piece of work in 30 days. So that means in one day he will be doing 1/30th of the work. So in 25 days he will do 25/30th of the work, which after cancelling with 5 becomes 5/6. So 5/6 becomes the answer to the question. Right, students? You all are clear? It's a simple question that way. So we are moving on. This one, try and answer this. So perfect, you're giving the answer to be 30. Now Radha can do a piece of work in 40 days. Students, if you are able to do a piece of work in 40 days, so if you only want to do 3/4 of the work, you will take 3/4 of the time. Now 3/4 of 40 happens to be 30 days. As the question talks about days, it is 30 days. I hope it is again clear. So let's move on to the next question. This one, students, that's great. So many of you are answering it. The question is again, Chanda does the piece of work in 25 days. So in one day she does 1/25. In 20 days she shall be doing 20/25 of the work. But mind it, students, the question talks about the work done in percentage. We know percentage means per 100. So multiply it by 100 and you get the answer as 80%, right? Moving on, this question, students. Now students, I think you all are getting the answer to be 12 days. Now here you have something to learn from this question. Students, there are two approaches that we can follow while answering this question. One, X does this piece of work in 20 days. So we can say in one day X does 1/20th of the work. In one day Y does 1/30th of the work. Now if you take together their one day's work, it is 1/20 plus 1/30 is equal to, taking the LCM to be 60, 3 plus 2, that is together they do 1/12th of the work in one day. So this means the work will be finished in 12 days, right? This is something you all have got understood and applying. Now students, let me add here, there is another approach that you should apply, which we call the unit approach, and in order to make it a little bit interesting, we can call it the chocolate approach, students. Now here X does a work in 20, Y does it in 30. Now students, the problem with time and work problems is that as we use reciprocals in this case, so the question becomes slightly complex. So what we do is we assume the work to be consisting of eating some chocolates. For example, in this case, what is the LCM of 20 and 30, students? I think you all can tell me without fail. The LCM happens to be 60. So students, let's assume that the work was actually consisting of eating 60 chocolates. So if Ram does this work in 20 days, X does it in 20 days, can you say per day he eats 3 chocolates? Sham does, or Y does this work in 30 days. This means per day he eats 2 chocolates. Now students, if you see carefully, while I am writing this to explain all that to you, but when you actually solve it, you can do all that stuff orally. All that I have written. 60 divided by 20. So X eats 3 chocolates a day. Y eats 2 chocolates a day. if they start eating together, can you say they will be eating 3 plus 2, that is 5 chocolates a day. So students, if 2 people eat 5 chocolates a day, they have a total of 60 chocolates. Chocolates will be over in how many days? Are we getting it? It will be 12 days. The advantage of using this method is that as soon as you assume the work to be consisting of certain units or certain chocolates, as in this case, the question becomes linear after that. There is no fraction that you have to use after that. You can see it here. Nothing is to be written. You can do all that stuff orally. And assuming some units or some chocolates make the calculations look so easy that you can do it so very comfortably. Students, I hope you all have got this chocolate approach. Shraddha, we just thought that let the work was actually consisting of the LCM of the 2 or the 3 numbers mentioned. That is, it was 20 days and 30 days. So हमने 20 और 30 का LCM ले लिया, which was 60. So we thought let the work be actually consisting of eating 60 chocolates. If X eats those chocolates in 20 days, this means he eats 3 chocolates a day. Y eats all the chocolates in 30 days, that means he eats 2 chocolates a day. So together they are consuming 3 plus 2, that is 5 chocolates per day. Now if they have a total of 60 chocolates, they can finish those in 60 divided by 5 in 12 days. Right students? You will see if you apply chocolates, this units approach, the question actually becomes very simple. You can do it orally. Without writing you can answer this. आपको इसके लिए कुछ भी लिखना नहीं पड़ेगा. और moreover question में chocolates आ गई हैं, so it creates some interest also. Otherwise mathematics does not create that much interest. Are you all with me? Chal, that's great. That's great students. Okay, let's move on. This question. Just try and answer it. So 4 students are answering it to be 100. Anahita, Surbhi, Vanshika, Sahil, Shraddha, Jatin, Amit, Anjani. So students, here sometimes some of you do make the mistake and calculate, right, that in how many days Y would have finished the work or something like that. Now mind it, you actually have to answer it only for how much money will Y get, and money is always paid in relation to the work. It is never in relation to the number of days spent, right? So can you see that X finishes the work in 40 days? So in 20 days, X would have done half of the work, right? So if somebody does half of the work, students, how much money he or she should be paid? He should be paid half of the money. So we calculate half of 200 and find the answer to be 100. So 100 rupees becomes your answer. Right students? Moving on, this one. Try and answer it. The problems on pipes and cisterns are also like time and work only. Read the question carefully students. 30 is a wrong answer. Jatin, Anjani, Yashita. Students, I'll say to apply mind here as well. See if pipe can fill it in 60 minutes. And if leak can empty it in a time period which is less than or equal to 60, mind it, the tank will never be filled, right? But it says the tank got filled in 90 minutes. So think and then answer. Sahil and Vanshika say now the answer is 180. So shall we discuss it students? Okay, there are 2 approaches we'll apply. One is, see, pipe can fill the tank in 60 minutes. Let me assume secondly that leak can empty the tank in L minutes. Now mind it students, the pipe is filling the tank and the leak is draining the tank out. So that means in 1 minute the inlet pipe fills 1 by 60 and in 1 minute the leak would drain 1 by L. So students, 1 minute output is 1 by 60 minus 1 by L, can you say is equal to 1 by 90? Because if together it has taken 90 minutes to fill the tank, that means 1 minute's net output is 1 by 90, right? So this is 1 by 60 minus 1 by 90 is equal to 1 by L. You take the LCM 180, 3 minus 2, so it is 1 by 180 is equal to 1 by L. So the value of L happens to be 180. Right students, this means the leak can drain the full tank of its own in 180 minutes. I hope you all are clear. Yes, if we are making an equation. Now students, there is another approach, that the unit approach I can apply here as well. I'll suggest go to learn that as well. See, it was 60 minutes by the inlet pipe and 90 minutes together. So what is the LCM of 60 and 90? Sorry, you all very well know it is 180. So let the capacity of the tank be 180 liters, because it is not chocolates here, it is the tank which is to be filled. So we take the capacity to be 180 liters. Now just see how simply you can answer this question. Students, a pipe can fill it in 60 minutes. So if the capacity is 180 liters, what is the inlet rate at which the tank is filled? Can you say it is 3 liters per minute? But with the help of leak, it took 90 minutes. So if net it takes 90 minutes, this means what is the net result every minute? Can you say net it is 2 liters per minute? And you see carefully students, your question is over. The inlet pipe is putting in 3 liters per minute. Net output is 2 liters per minute. So can you conclude from that 1 liter per minute has been drained out by the leak? So if leak drains 1 liter per minute, in how much time can it drain a tank of 180 liters completely? So 180 divided by 1, the answer is 180 minutes. Students, whosoever has understood this second approach will be convinced that this method is comparatively quite easy. So students, your reply will be appreciated whether you have got the second method, because you can see I only have to think while thinking about the capacity of 180 liters. Then the complete question is linear. There is no fraction involved. Yashita, you can ask any doubt if you have. हमने इन दोनों का जो LCM है वो 60 और 90 का LCM 180 लीटर्स मान लिया है कि जो टोटल टैंक है उसकी कैपेसिटी 180 लीटर्स है. नाउ जो फिलिंग पाइप है it can fill it in 60 minutes, so that gives its filling rate to be 3 liters per minute, because it took 60 minutes to fill of its own. Now when it works with the help of leak, it took 90 minutes. So this means the rate is 2 liters per minute now. So that means if you're putting in 3 liters, net output is 2 liters. So that implies 1 liter per minute has been drained out. So if the leak drains 1 liter per minute out, so total of 180 liters will be drained in 180 minutes. I hope you all have got it, students. Yes, answer this question. Jatin, Vanshika, Surbhi answering 15. Shraddha says it is 4. Somik says it is 30 days. Aditya says it is 9. Aditya says it is 19. Yes, Aditya. Now it is absolutely wrong. So shall we discuss it, students? Amit says it is 45. Students, if I just say that this question you should have done without doing anything, it's an oral question, would you believe me? Yeah, it is. Students, just see what is happening. A worked for 15 days. Then B worked for 15 days. And students, guess what? The work is over. The work is over when A worked alone for 15 days and then B worked alone for 15 days. So students, wouldn't it mean that if they both work together for 15 days, the work will be over as such? Isn't it? See, simply what is happening is A works for 15 days, then B works for 15 days and the work is over. In this scenario that the question has given, could you tell me how many days each of them has worked? They have worked for 15 days and the work is over. So if they work together, they will take only 15 days to finish it off. That's it. Nothing is to be done as such. Because it is 15 and 15, so together also it will take them 15 days to do the work. Shraddha, whatever proportion of work you do in 15 days and then I took over and I finished the remaining work in 15 days. Shraddha, we need not go into that, though if you want we can go. For your better understanding, if you want we can go. Okay students, let me first go to the detailed method, then we'll come to this again. Now in 15 days A would have done how much of the work? 15 by 60, that is 1 by 4. That means the remaining 3/4 of the work has been done by B in 15 days. If B does 3/4 of the work in 15 days, this means B will finish the work in 20 days, right? Now, what you have to do is, in order to answer this, it is 1 by 60 plus 1 by 20. The LCM is 60. It is 1 plus 3, 4 by 60, 1 by 15, which means the work is over in 15 days. Right? Talking about the conventional method of doing it. Now Shraddha, talking it logically, you worked for some work for 10 days. Now whatever you do, I finish the remaining work in 10 days. This means if your 10 days and my 10 days would have been together, you would have finished the work in the same time. So the answer becomes 10 days in the scenario that we are assuming. Alright, now here because 15 and 15 is the same number, we can just answer it from there. It will be 15 days only. Right students? I hope you all are clear about this. Okay, Shraddha, if the number of days were different, then you need to do the conventional method only. It is only because it was same we can apply the shortcut, right? Okay students, moving on. So students, you can just see this video on work and pipes, which is available at our channel as well as on YouTube. So going through, you can see some tougher questions on the topic. I think you all are clear about the basic by now. Okay, moving on. These are the online tests which you can attempt at hitbullseye.com. Okay, so we are moving on with the next topic, which is time and distance. So let's first start with the concepts. Students, you know the basic formula. We know time is equal to distance divided by speed. Speed is equal to distance divided by time. And distance is time multiplied by speed. Basically the same formula having three different application. Depends upon what you want to find. You want to calculate time, speed or distance. So answer this very simple question students. Speed 40. Distance 440. Excellent. A very simple question. The very basic one. So it is 11. Perfect. So I hope it's a damn simple question. You all answered it. So moving on. Answer this question. Perfect. So distance of 480 kilometers has been covered in 20 hours. So the speed happens to be 480 by 20. That is 24 kmph. Yeah. Moving on. Students, a concept here. In order to convert a speed of kilometer per hour into meters per second, we multiply it by 5 by 18. Now let me explain here students. When you go from kilometer to meter, you know in every kilometer there are 1000 meters and in every hour there are 3600 seconds. So if you take kilometer into meter and hours into seconds, you basically get the figure as 5 by 18. So students who prepared for this of their own, I suggest do remember this 5 by 18, which is very very important. Whenever you want to convert from kilometer per hour to meters per second, बहुत बार क्या होगा, you have the speed in kilometers per hour but the distance in meters, you have to convert the speed into the same. If you multiply it by 5 by 18, you can do it directly. And students, I need not tell you कि अगर आपने meters per second से kilometer per hour जाना है, you need to multiply it by 18 by 5. Okay, so it becomes 18 by 5 in that case. So let's move on. Students, answer this question. Anjani, I just said if you want to convert from kilometer per hour to meters per second, you need to multiply it by 5 by 18. When you want to go from kilometer per hour to meters per second. Yes, Anjani. Anjani, a kilometer will always have 1000 meters and an hour will always have 3600 seconds. So it will always happen. Anjani, you cannot be so Anjan. So let's solve it, students. The speed was given to be 54 km per hour. So into 5 by 18, you can see the speed happens to be 15 meters per second. You have a distance of 300 meters, and 300 meters, if you want to cover the distance with a speed of 15 meters per second, the time will be equal to 20 seconds. Right, students? So it is 20. I hope you all are clear. So let's move on, students. Answer this. Answer, is it 600? As some of you are answering. Vanshika, I did not speak anything just now. 108 km per hour into 5 by 18. The speed happens to be 30 meters per second. Now 30 meters per second is your speed and your time is given to be 20 seconds. Now you know distance is equal to speed multiplied by time. So your answer is 30 into 20, that is 600. Right, students? So distance covered is 600 meters. Shall we move on, students? Answer this. Perfect. So students, Anuradha covers 450 meters in 10 seconds. So speed is equal to distance divided by time. So it is 45 meters per second. Now if you want to go from meters per second to kilometers per hour, you get it as 162 kilometers per hour. Now here we need to multiply by 18 by 5. So it is 162 kilometers per hour. All are clear? Okay, moving on. This one, students. Shraddha says it is 50. Vanshika, Vidushi, Diksha, Utkarsh, they all say it is 50. So let's discuss it. Shall we, students? The answer is 50. Don't think like that. 50 is a wrong answer, students. So students, when you talk about average speed, there are three basic approaches. One, if the distance covered at two different speeds is same, then average speed is 2uv divided by u plus v. As in this case, you can see he covers half the journey at the rate of 40 km per hour, another half at the rate of 60 km per hour. So it is 2 into 40 into 60 divided by 40 plus 60. So it is 4800 divided by 100. Answer is 48 kilometers per hour. Right? So answer for this question is 48 kilometers, students. Taking the case 2 is when the time at which he travels is same. If the time at which he travels both the distances is the same, then average speed is just the normal arithmetic mean, that is x plus y divided by 2. So the students who answered 50, their answer is wrong, as it is not the time which is the same, it is the distance which is same. Right? And students, the third scenario is when neither the distance is same nor the time is same. In that case, the average speed is the normal speed formula, that is the total distance divided by total time. So the normal speed formula we know is distance divided by time. So if you don't have any of those two equal, then total distance divided by total time gives you the average speed. All of you are clear about the same, students? Okay, now let's move on. These are the videos, students. You can write or see the name of the videos. Then these are the online test, students. Okay. Now students, before we finish with these two topics, let me ask a question. Say on time and work, and see how much you have learned and how do you solve it. Say X does a piece of work in 60 days. Y does this piece of work in 40 days. Say they start together. Then after some days Y leaves. Then after some days Y leaves, so that the work is finished in 45 days. So tell after how many days Y leaves the work. I gave you 2 minutes to answer this. I said X in 60, Y in 40, they start the work together. Then Y leaves after a certain number of days. Say after Z days. So that the work is finished in 45 days. We have to find the value of Z. So anybody with answer? Students, just listen. If you convert this question into simpler form, you can solve it simply. I think you all are listening to me very carefully. Now students, it is always better in such questions if somebody leaves in between or somebody joins in between to create a map in your mind. Mind it, students, X and Y started together. Then after Z days, Y leaves, X is present there, such that the work is finished in 45 days. So students, can you see here that for which person you know that he has worked for how many days? Can you see from this map and conclude that X had worked for all the 45 days? Can you see that? Yes or no? Now you can see that. Now X has worked throughout the 45 days. In one day X does 1 by 60. So in 45 days X would have done 45 by 60 or 3/4 of the work, students. So from that, can you conclude that the remaining work, which is 1 by 4, must have been done by Y? Vanshika, I just said from the map that you can see that throughout the 45 days X has been present, and in 45 days X would have done 45 by 60, that is 3/4 of the work. So that means the remaining 1/4 of the work has been done by the only other person present, which is Y, who finishes the work in 40 days of his own. So in order to do 1/4 of the work, he would have taken just 10 days. Right? Now as he is present from the beginning, so he will leave after 10 days. So 10 becomes your answer. So students, have you got it? Some of you? Vanshika, can you see the map here that I am referring to? This one? Okay, that's great. Right, students? Now let me just change the question a little to tell you the effectiveness of the approach. Just listen to me. The question is not changed. Just a little bit of answer. Say, had the question been X does the work in 60 days, Y does it in 40 days, then had it been that X started, then Y joins after some days, so that the work is finished in 45 days. I have not changed any figure, just the basic formation of the question I have changed. I think you all are listening. X started the work, then Y joins after some days, so that the work is finished in 45 days. Student, just see to it here. In that case, you would have said it is X here, then it is XY here. No, answer will not be same, Surbhi. That is the catch. It is XY here, and the work has been finished in 45 days. Now again. Yeah, Vidushi, that is perfect. Now you can see here our approach will be same, that X has worked throughout the 45 days. In 45 days, X would have done same as we did earlier, 3/4 of the work. Now 3/4 of the work X did. This means the remaining 1/4 of the work is done by Y, who does 1/4 of the work in 10 days, but now he is present for the last 10 days. Right? So he should have joined after how many days? He should have joined after 35 days. So the only difference was that the formation of the question was different, which makes your answer wrong, answer change, but the approach, the basic approach to solve the question remains the same. So students, I strongly suggest when you go through such problems of time and work, do make a map in your mind and then only try to solve it. Anjani, just listen. Can you say again that X had worked for all the 45 days? Can you say that? Now in 45 days X would have done 3/4 of the work. I am referring with the help of the red dot. Now he did 3/4 of the work. This means the remaining work, which is 1/4, has been done by Y. Correct? Now 1/4 of the work Y does in 10 days. 1/4 of 40 is 10. Now this time, because Y is present there in the end, so he will work for the last 10 days out of a total of 45. So he would have joined after how many days, Anjani? If you work for last 10 days out of 45, so this means you joined after 35 days. Right? Right, Anjani? Okay. So let's go to the next topic, students, and I strongly suggest, if you still face problem, go through the video on work and pipes. Okay, students, let me move to the next PPT. We are going to do progressions and alligation and mixture. So progression, students, first of all, arithmetic progression. Just read the formula. First of all, we are talking to the nth term. That is, nth term is specifically the term we want to calculate, right? Wherein the question, below the question you can see here, nth term, that is the term we want to calculate. We can also refer to the term that we want to calculate or given as L, that is the last term, wherein A is the first term that you have, D is the common difference between any two terms, and you can find that with the help of this formula, students, Tm divided by m minus 1. So you need not afraid of this formula. Students, if you take the value of m as 2, that is, if you subtract T1 from T2, you get the value of D. So if you take the value of m as 3, so if you subtract T2 from T3, you will have the value of D, or the difference. Okay, students? Tn is equal to A plus n minus 1 into D, which we can also refer as the last term. Now there is this sum of n terms in a arithmetic progression. Students, I hope you all are clear what an AP is. Let me give you an example. Say AP is, if I take the terms as say 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. Now what I am doing to find the next term, you can see we are just adding 2. So when the difference between all the terms are same, the term we call as AP or arithmetic progression. Say AP 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, all those are arithmetic progressions. Now sum of n terms we can calculate with the help of the formula here, students. Sn is equal to n by 2 multiplied by 2a plus n minus 1 into d. D we know how to calculate. N will be the same n we are using here. So if you want to calculate the sum of 10 terms, it will be 10 by 2. If you want to calculate S10, it will be 10 by 2. What is A, or the first term in this case? It is 3, n is 10 here, and D you can calculate as 2 again. Right, students? I hope you are clear. So answer this question, please. You have to find T25 and S30. Let's see. Vanshika says 2970. Shraddha says it is 2070. So let's do it, students. So T25 is A here is 12 plus N is 25 minus 1. And how much is D here, students? D is 6. So 12 plus 24 into 6. So 24 into 6 is 144. So the answer comes out to be 156 for T25. Now for S30, sum of first 30 terms is n by 2 into A plus n minus 1, that is 30 minus 1 is 29, and D is 6. So this is 30 by 2, bracket says 24 plus 29 into 6 happens to be 174. So it is 15 into 198. Again, I'll suggest something here, students. Just don't look at the values and start solving it. I can very well see here that I can think of 198 as something which is 200 minus 2. See carefully, I can answer it without writing now. 15 into 200 gives us 3000. Minus 15 into 2 is 30, and the answer comes out to be 2970. I hope you all have got it. Perfect. Let's move on to the another formula. Sum of n terms can also be found if you have been given the first term and the last term. N by 2 into a plus L. Here is a question, students. Find the sum of all the multiples of 7 between 43 and 349. Mind it, AP is not given here. AP you have to create, you have to make. Vanshika says 9604. So shall we discuss it, students? I think you're not getting it, some of you. See, multiples of 7 between 43 and 349. So which is the smallest number which is in this range and is divisible by 7? I think you all know that pretty well. It is 49. Then the next number is 56. Then it is 63. Now which is the greatest number less than 349, which is a multiple of 7? You need to check that. 7 4s are 28. 7 9s are 63. It is 343. Now students, we don't know how many terms are there, so we cannot find the sum directly. So we'll first apply this formula. L is A plus N minus 1 into D. So 343 is 49 plus N minus 1 into D. So 343 minus 49 gives you 294, which you will divide by 7 to find the value of N minus 1, which comes out to be 42, and the value of N becomes 43. Right? Now after that we'll apply the formula. Is everybody clear up to 43? Yes, students? Okay. Now students, besides that, we know that in order to find the sum, we can say it is equal to N by 2 into A plus L. So it is 43 by 2 into 49 plus 343. So it is 43 by 2 into 392. Solving that, you get 196. So it is 43 into 200 minus 4. It is 8600 minus 132. Answer is 8468. Aditya, you have to take multiples of 7. Yeah, you got that. Okay. So sometimes he makes a AP question look difficult because you have to find the terms. He has not given you any terms. Okay, students, I hope you all have got it. Shall I move on? Okay. Then GP, students. In geometric progression, it is not the difference which is common. Vidushi, what is wrong there? Please tell me no. 43, oh sorry, I'm so sorry Vidushi. 43 into 4 is 172. You are perfectly right. Here I made an error, students, in calculation. So it was 172 which is subtracted. So answer is 8428. Perfect. Thank you so much, Vidushi. That's great. So it is 8428, students. Now geometric progression, it is not the common difference here. It is a ratio which is common here. And let me write a GP here. Say it is 12, 3 is the 36, 108, 324, and so on. You can say every term is generated by multiplying the previous term by 3. Okay. The formula is nth term is equal to AR n minus 1. Tn is the nth term, A is the first term, R is the ratio. The only difference here is R, it is not D here. यहाँ पे हम difference नहीं लेते, यहाँ पे हम ratio लेते हैं. So this is a sum formula, students. It is A into R raised to power n minus 1 divided by R minus 1. In case R is greater than 1, Ratio between any two terms, Vanshika. If you divide any term by the term which is following it, you get the value of R. Sorry, if you divide any term by the term which precedes this term, which appears before this term. Should I show you? See here, 36 by 12 if you do, or if you do 108 by 36, the ratio in this case happens to be 3. Okay. Now students, this question here, you have to find T8 and S10 for this GP. So T8 will be A into R raised to power n minus 1. So 5 into 128 is 640. Then you have to answer for S10. It will be A into R raised to power n minus 1 divided by R minus 1. So this is 5 into, students, 2 raised to power 10, a very important value, 1024 minus 1 is 1023. In the denominator you have 1 only. Now this is 5100 plus 15, so this is 5115. So you have found both T8 and S10. Any doubts, students? Okay, now let's move on to the last topic. Just a formula of infinite terms in a GP, students. Sum of infinite terms of a GP is A divided by 1 minus R. Vanshika, I have shown the formula as such. If you want, you can see that it was this. It is A into R raised to power n minus 1 divided by R minus 1 in case R is bigger than 1. It is subtractive if it is less than 1. So this was the infinite GP formula. Now alligation and mixture. So it is a concept based topic which is of a great help when you apply it in other chapters. So I'll just explain the concept and then we'll solve some 2-3 questions on the same. So student, concept of alligation, I'll suggest all of you to focus here. You learn the concept and you'll find it to be wonderful. See, this works with the help of this cross technique. If you remember, you all have done it. Say if I say the students who are right now attending this session, say the boys have an average weight of 60 kilograms and say the girls have an average weight of 50 kilograms, and say all the students who are attending there right now have an average weight which is equal to 54 kilograms. Have you understood the question? Average weight of boys is given to be 60, girls is given to be 50, and overall this average weight is given to be 54 kilograms. So students, the combined average given is always written in between, and then mind it, we have to take up the difference the way the lines of the cross are moving. So what is the difference between 50 and 54 here, students? It is 4 kilograms. Mind it, I am using the word difference. Difference is always taken positive, that is, it is always taken their modulus value. It is 4 kilograms. And what is the difference between 60 and 54, students? Here the difference of 60 and 54 happens to be 6 kilograms. Now just take up the difference of the two values given. The ratio of the two values given, the ratio of 4 kg and 6 kg happens to be 2:3, which implies this is the ratio of boys to girls who are attending this session. Listen to me carefully. This implies if there are 2 boys who are attending the session right now, there are 3 girls who are attending the session. We take the difference and write the way the lines are moving, and difference is always a modulus function. No, Vanshika, it is not 3. Diksha, we have to take up the difference the way the lines of cross are moving. You can see here the difference of 60 and 54 has been written here as 6. The difference of 50 and 54 have been written here as 4, and then we take the ratio of 4 and 6, which comes out to be 2:3. So if there are 2 boys, there are 3 girls. Mind it, whosoever stands below what will stands for the same. that is below boys you get a ratio of 2. Here you have a ratio of 2, so it stands for 2 boys, and below girls it stands for a ratio of 3, so that means there are 3 girls. So जिसके नीचे जो आता है वो उसके लिए stand करता है, and the differences are taken like this. So students, if I tell you that right now there are say 20 students who are attending the session, so can you find the number of boys and number of girls from 20? So can you find it? Tell me the number of boys. Perfect. Aditya, we only said you take up the difference the way these crosses are moving, and then we take up the difference, and then we take up the ratio of the differences. So जिसके नीचे जो आता है वो उसके लिए स्टैंड करता है. So boys के नीचे रेशियो 2 आ रही है, girls के रेशियो नीचे रेशियो 3 आ रही है. This means if there are 2 boys, there are 3 girls. Ratio of boys to girls is 2:3. So 2 boys and 3 girls. So I gave an example that if there are 20 students, so out of 20, 2 by 5 are boys. That is, there are 8 boys and there are 12 girls. Right, students? So answer 1 or 2 questions. This one. And this alligation formula is applicable everywhere wherever you have 2 extreme values and their combined average. Amit and Shraddha have given the answers. Diksha also is giving the answer. Perfect. Vanshika, Vidushi, Surbhi, very good students. So it is 25 here, 40 here, 30 in between. The difference is 10. The difference is 5. So the ratio happens to be 2:1. You all have answered it correct. Perfect. So students, आप देख सकते हो ये एक एवरेज का क्वेश्चन है, but we can answer by applying the technique of alligation. I think you all are clear about the basics of the same. But do remember when you solve a question, students, of the same, that you cannot compare apples with oranges. That is, the thing that you are comparing has to be same. You cannot compare average marks with average weight or average age. Right? So solve this question. Apply some mind here. You have been given the cost price, the selling price, and the gain percentage. I think you all can understand what I am trying to say. So answer this question. Because we have been given 2 cost prices, so we have to find the third cost price as well. So apply the principle of SPCPC, or SP is 1.75. and there is a gain of 25%. So from that you will calculate the CP to be 1.40. right? Now applying the alligation, one rate is 1.8, another is 1.2, and the average rate is 1.40. So 0.2, 0.4, ratio is 1:2. Right, students? So we just solved one example on average, another question on profit and loss. So students, you can see this is applicable in percentage, interest, profit and loss, work. Yeah, Vidushi, we have to find the cost price. Shraddha, I hope you would have covered the concept of profit and loss in the earlier classes. If not, you have to go through the concept of profit and loss, right? 1.75 is your selling price with a gain of 25%. Right, students? So before I end this session here, so just see the video on alligation and mixture, students. You can go through that. This video I have shot, and you will learn so many more techniques of alligation and mixture here. I hope you all are noting it or can refer to the same. And then there are the test, the online support at hitbullseye.com. Right, students, in case you are not able to find any video or you have any problem, you can mail to us at admin@hitbullseye.com. So we are there and we'll be really happy to help you. So this is it from my side, students, for the day. I hope you have covered and understood all the topics. Shraddha, what you did not get? Diksha, the concept I did cover. Okay, just a minute. This one. Shraddha, you were given the selling price to be 1.75. And we know the formula that CP is equal to SP into 100 divided by 100 plus profit percent. I applied this formula only. Okay. So right students, this is all from our side for the day. Thank you so much. See you all later. Thank you.